first of all, let's see what is happening right now. That is very important because these days we can see that we are living in an era where this human machine or this man machine interface is at peak level. This is something which is very known, familiar to all of you. We know that. And other thing which we can see is like these days a lot of tech savvy words are getting into our mouths. We can see that most of you must have heard the words like blockchain is there, augmented reality is there, virtual reality is there, artificial intelligence is there, IoT is there, autonomous driving cars are there. So all these thinking chatbots are there. So all these words and technology is actually revolutionizing each and every aspect of all of our lives, especially our lifestyle. We can see that they are changing our food habits, our lifestyle, including our transportation, of course, our education, and to the last point where we are focusing, that is, of course, your job market and the job profile. So you need to understand that the world is getting, as the everyone says, that world is getting smaller and smaller. At the same time, it is growing also. So how do we manage this transition stage, which is very important? See, according to this McKinsey Global Statistical Report, it is being said that over the next 2 years, we could expect something around 61 to 65 millions of new jobs would be created on the market. At the same time, the report also focused on the fact that maybe on the coming next 2 to 3 years, many of the jobs which is existing right now, is not going to be there, or it is going to be either transformed. They are saying that an estimated about something around 40 to 45 million jobs are either going to be completely transformed or they are going to be replaced by machines or some other interface. So now this is a very critical situation, which all of you should be aware of. So we should understand that when we are looking into this perspective, we could actually consider a few cases that might throw some light on this fact. When we are not able to adapt to the changes, whether it is technological or the natural ways kind of changes, we would naturally perish. For example, if we consider the cases of companies like Kodak, all of you know that it was a company which was pioneer in this photography technology, and they were just the leaders. And what happened was when there was a change which was put on that Kodak, that means they were not readily adapting this digital photography technology, and we know what was the result. They were simply pushed out of the market. We have another example, a similar example, that is something which happened with the Nokia. So Nokia, we know that it's for most of us, we can see Nokia was our first mobile phone. I believe so. So there, the thing was like the Nokia was almost ruling the market, and what happened was when the Android came, the Nokia was not ready to accommodate the change of the Android, and eventually it became the people started using other companies, or they were preferring other companies over the Nokia. So you need to understand when it's come to this technology, the change is something which is inevitable. That means you have to adapt to that change. Whether you're a company or whether you're a future career aspirant, this is something equally applicable to everyone. So in today's context, what our topic is, we'll be just focusing on three areas. I have just divided my session into three areas. The first part is we need to understand what is happening right now, what is the current scenario, and like where we are heading, what are the situations. And on the second part, we can see is like, see, of course, we have an issue, a pandemic is going on, that is COVID is there. So what is the impact of this COVID on this current scenario? And finally, as a future career aspirant, what is your take on this, or what are the things which you are supposed to do? So those are the three areas which will be focusing. I'm not going to take much time, maximum 20-30 minutes. Then if you have any question, we can make it an interactive section. Okay, yes. So this was a topic which we are discussing. That is, we are trying to identify what is a digital skill gap, and how do you bridge that gap between education and workplace. To begin with, as I was saying, that where we are heading, that is something which we need to understand. See, as I was saying that right now the world is getting transformed into in a tech savvy world, or you can say that the man and machine, both of them are moving parallel. And this is not happening just due to the COVID impact or something like that. This was a transition stage which was happening from last 10 years. Only thing is this COVID has got a disruptive effect or impact on this thing. And you can think of COVID as, as it was actually acting as a catalyst. It has got a catalytic effect on this. That means the process which has to happen in over the next 5 to 10 years, just because of the COVID, you can see that this process has fastened. That means it is already happening in 1 to 2 years. So that is the effect of COVID on this situation. See, right now, if you look into the younger generation, you can see that maybe probably a brother or sister who is studying on the school, they are already accessing these online education gadgets, and they are just watching the videos, watching the, accessing the information from various websites, which were not so familiar with us. So that is something, innovative. At the same time, it's a breakthrough, because what we can see is after 5 years, when these students are going to enter the college, the way by which they approach the project, the way by which they are going to train themselves for the jobs is going to be completely different from what we or I have done. So that is something which we need to understand. Now this is just a popular pic. I hope most of you must have seen this one. This is one random pic which we can see everywhere on internet. So you can see that there is one picture which is shown on 2010 as well as 2020, and from the picture itself you must have got the idea. It means just in 10 years there was a huge change. And what is that change? The change is, you can see that there were some severe job loss. As it is mentioned here, both the cameraman as well as the pilot lost their jobs. So now this is a reality, because maybe before 5 years, if you have seen a drone, that might be a little weird. But nowadays we are seeing the drone everywhere. Even if you go to some wedding or something, you can see that right above your head, one drone is going and it is going to take some pictures. So it's just normal. It's not something is happening in some other country. We have seen this. So this is a reality. So this is something, suppose somebody is talking about the same technology in 2010, this is something huge at that time. But within a span of 10 years, how much it is changed. That's the point. Now, this is actually a sarcastic or a funny take on this, how the technology is taking care of the jobs, or it is how it is taking the man out of its place. That's what it is being shown here. You can see that initially, when it's come to this technology, the man was using it as an assistant, or with the help of technology, we are doing things. We have major changes or major breakthroughs like industrial revolutions, all those things, or this medical breakthroughs, all those things are the part of this one. But over the time period, you can see that the machines are also evolving, and finally it would end up at a situation where the man and the machine, when they are moving parallelly, the machine would be able to surpass the man. So that is a thing which is happening. Of course, this is a little bit fictitious, because we could possibly imagine that there won't be a situation where the machine is going to completely replace man. Well, that's not going to happen anywhere near in the future. Now,
Yes, sir. Can I say something?
Yes, yes, sure.
Sir, I totally agree with you, because I was like watching a video yesterday, and it was like by 2030 there won't be jobs in taxi industry,
Yeah,
and the reason was self-driving cars, electric cars, and everything. Elon Musk is over self-driving cars, and Google is over self-driving cars. See, we have to improvise and adapt and overcome.
see, as he mentioned, Elon Musk, he was just saying that there will be fewer jobs. It was his own words only. There will be fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better than man. So that is what Elon Musk said. And of course, you mentioned this, automobile or self-driving cars. See, I'll just give you a small example on the same contest. See, imagine all the taxis and all these cars are being driven by this autonomous technology, that is self-driving cars are there, and this traffic signals and all those central database management system is being run by a blockchain technology. I hope all of you have heard about that technology. So it is a decentralized way of data management. Now I will tell you a few of the benefits that would be resulting from this part. One thing is, you can see that right now if you go into the cities and all, a lot of time is wasted on this, at the place of traffics. Some light would turn red and green. According to that, we are wasting time as well as fuel. Now imagine the whole process is synchronized through a decentralized database management system. Now you'll be saving a lot of time on this traffic. That means you'll be saving the fuel, at the same time the productivity increases. This is just a small example. And eventually I've seen that there are then some coffee bean producers who are basically from the Malaysia, and the farmers are getting paid through this blockchain technology. So there, this blockchain has got its own impact. Now, of course, when automation comes, some of the drivers are going to lose their job. That is there. I'll come to that point. But you have to think that not in the case of job loss, we have to just focus it into a future perspective where we can consider it as a job shift. How that can be achieved, that I will explain now. So coming to this slide, so here I have just mentioned few points only. The first thing is what kind of organizations where you're supposed to, or where you're practically going to work in the future. That is the next thing. We are having a new set of organization which we call as exponential organization. Whether you're coming from an engineering background or maybe you're sticking to management background, this is a reality. This is something which we need to face. Now, exponential organization, in the sense, these are the organization, they are going to hugely leverage on technology. That means most of their process would be automated and that would be run by machines. And at the same time, they need employees, but these employees, when you consider the employees, the number of employees are going to be limited. That means they'll be just hiring few number of employees, and the employees which they are hiring, they'll be highly tech savvy. So basically, what these organizations are doing is they'll be just hiring fewer number of people who are multi-talented and very much skilled on particular kind of jobs. So that is a next generation companies, or that is the kind of jobs most of you are going to face in the future. Now the next thing is there is something which you call as infinite mindset. When you look at the company's perspective, what we can see is naturally most of the companies are rating, or they are believing that the ultimate idea is a wealth maximization or the profit maximization, but it's not like that. Nowadays you can see that we have new measures and new rating, like CSR activities is coming, ESG values there. So all these values put a cover of sustainability over this companies. So rather than just looking at the financial performance, the companies are more focusing on the humanitarian side or the sustainability side. So you have to, when you approach a company as an employee or an employer, you have to develop an infinite mindset. That means this is something which has to keep on going on. It's not like you're working there for 5 years, then you leave and go to the company. Whatever happens to the company and whatever happens to you, they are not worried about that. It's not like the same kind of attitude which you should focus. You should focus on a holistic attitude where you'll be thinking that if you work for a company, that would be beneficial to yourself, to the company, as well as the future generation. So that is a kind of mindset which you have to develop. Now coming to the third point, that is automation. Now this is one topic which has been overly discussed over a long time of period, because automation is not something which is happening for the first time. Back in the time when the industrial revolution was coming, many of the machines were replacing the man's job, and you can see that nowadays is most of the factories are running on this automation only. But you don't have to take it as a threat. I'll tell you why. Because as you can see that there is a point shown there as the job shift. What you have to understand from this scenario is, like, when the technology is taking over these companies or taking over these production facilities or even the management services, naturally the overall productivity and the efficiency would increase. And as a result, what is going to happen is the economy which is existing right now, that is going to get disrupted. And parallel to this, you can see new economies would rise. Now, this is a truth, and this is something which is happening historically for or a period of long time. Say, for example, when we have this rise of internet, something which all of you are very familiar about, you can see that in our places the nets were there even before the 10 years back. The net was there, but the accessibility was not that much. That means we were limited to the data access and other issues were there. Now when this net was it was available to everyone, we can see that how much development it has brought, or how many companies has grown. Ubers and Uber, other food companies and e-commerce companies has grown to beyond the limits just because of the advancement of internet. And of course, during this scenario, we can see that many companies were pushed outside the market also. So you don't have to think automation as something which is very bad. Of course, it will have its effect on some of the jobs. It is going to be there. As a smart career aspirant, what is your take? Your take should be like, you have to take or consider it as an opportunity. So you have to invest on yourself and upgrade yourself or upskill yourself so that you could be part of this change. Because with or without you, this is going to happen. So it's better you be part of that and you take the wheel in your own hands. So that's what I want to say about automation. Now the next term, this is again a key term. Everybody is talking about analytics. We can say that in this century, data is a new oil. You must have heard it. Because if you have information or data about something, that is something really valuable. All of you knows that. Because it's no longer man is taking the decisions. The decisions are actually taken by the machine or these algorithms which should be based on the analytics. So analytics is one area, or it is one seed which is spread out throughout the entire world. If you're getting into engineering field, maybe you're getting into the management field, in any particular domain like finance, HR, operations, marketing, whatever it is there, analytics is going to be there. So this is an area where you can invest some time. And as I was saying that I don't expect that everybody should do right away, start doing the coding. It's not like that. But you should know how things are going. Whether if it is coming from someone is coming from non-technical background, also we are expecting the same thing. I'll give you an example. See, suppose you take the case of a manager, A manager, what does is he don't require to do the data analytics, and he's not supposed to write the coding also. That would be done by some tech guys. But he should be on a position where you'll be able to understand what is the result which is interpreted on the base of this R or Python or any other languages, and based on that he would be able to make, or he should be able to make the decision. So that is what being expected. See, we can see that some students, they usually used to say that I don't like maths, and or maybe I don't like coding. So that is a kind of attitude which some of them would say, maybe due to some some of their childhood experience or something like that. But that is definitely not going to work in the future. You have to understand, you have to consider this technology or the digital skill as an essential crucial skill, because without that you are not going to survive after a time. I will tell you another example. Here it's in the case of data analytics. So if you ask any person who is working on any MNC, that means some pure academicians or some pure industrialists, if you're asking, what you can see is it's not like in the previous case where the people would be learning for a fixed time period, like up to their graduation or post graduation. Then they would just stop learning and then they would go and work. Now it is not going to happen, or it's not working anymore. So you have to understand that if you're into a hardcore profession, you have to keep yourself updated. This is an ongoing process. You have to make sure that you are learning new technologies, you are getting acquainted with the new systems and softwares. And if you're not doing that, you will be just outdated and you'll be thrown out of the industry. Now, this is equally acceptable or applicable for each and everyone who is likely to be entering the job market. So that is the one thing. So coming to the next thing, job shift. As I was quoting the statistics which was provided by McKinsey, you can see that even after this situation, there is likely to be more and more jobs are going to come into this field. It's not like the jobs are going to completely end and we are going to complete blackout. It's never going to happen. See, I will just give you an example. You can just quote few companies who were able to make huge profit even during this lockdown time. One of the companies is like Amazon. Jeff Bezos, if you look into his turnover, Jeff Bezos is someone who has made a fortune out of this COVID. Like that, so many companies are there. There are a lot of online streaming companies, and of course, we are just actually communicating with her into the help of an online digital platform. So all those things, even if it was there on the past time, we were not using this much. So there were opportunities, and there is some part of the economy which is growing. So what you have to do is, as a smart person, you have to allocate, you have to change yourself so that you can adapt to any of these growing industries, which is very important. Now, another key term which we hear everywhere, like these days, is like new normal. When you heard new normal, of course, you'll be relating with the pandemic COVID. You have to understand how the COVID is affecting your economy, which is also very important, because especially for the final year students, because you are the one who would be trying to face any interview panels, because the companies would be approaching you on a different way, not like the same way they used to do it on the last year or on the previous year, because they will have a completely different perspective. Because most of the companies, what they are believing is either they will take it as a position where they could make more profit, or they would take us as situations where they will be thinking of to saving their investment. That means they are not going to diverge into new project. Whatever they are having, they'll be focusing on that only. So some of the companies might be little reluctant to take the new employees. So that is a new normal. And you also need to understand, if you look into the economic aspects, see, it's a brutal breakdown. Almost everything is breakdown. If you look into the GDP of India, it has went to the negative values, something around minus 23%. So it would have influence on the job market. But at the same time, you have opportunities. I'll come to that. See, if you have friends or seniors or your parents who's working from the home, you'd see that how the situation has changed. Each of your rooms has changed into the office. Now, what is the effect of this on your future job prospects? That is the thing I'm going to explain. Now, when work from home exists, the companies also are going to see or visualize these employees from a different point of view. Say, they don't need no longer full-time employees, because they could actually always go and hire for the part-time employees or the employees on the base of the contract base. And when they are choosing or hiring the employees on the contract basis, the thing which you need to understand is they will be very much focusing on the people who are really talented and experienced. Because when you're paying for a particular job only, the amount of payment when compared to that monthly pay would be different. So they just need the best to do that a particular job. Now this is an opportunity, at the same time threat for you. That's what I've written on the next point. That is, it is a world of freelancers and experts. Maybe if you are good at particular thing, maybe you're very good at making some digital marketing, you're very extremely good at that, you have very good network, or you are very good at writing the codes, then that's an opportunity for you. Even if you don't have a proper degree, if you got that skill, that's an opportunity. Now the problem is nobody will be willing to take you and train you on this aspect, because they don't want to do that. Because when you look from the company's point of view, there will be so many employees who are already skilled and experienced than you, who are ready to offer the service on a better price. So for them that would be advantages. So at this point it is very critical. You have to make sure that you're stepping your level up. That means you should be making sure that as you proceed, you should be on a position where you can upskill yourself. So I hope I hope that you got an idea like what are the future jobs. Now coming to the topics, I mean the mid part of this one, where we'll be seeing that how can you stay relevant. That is very important. See, as we can see that this is a digital world. So first thing which you're supposed to do is increase your visibility. Now increasing the visibility in the sense, don't think that some company is going to come to your campus and then you'll be getting placement. Of course that is going to be there, but the number of interns is going to be different. We cannot expect the same thing to happen for the next years. So the first thing is you have to increase your visibility. Now increase your visibility means you have to show your digital performance, or you have to show your presence digitally. Say for example, one very good example is LinkedIn. I have some friends who are working on the HR of this LinkedIn and all, I mean HR of many companies. So they usually use this LinkedIn as a main source of recruitment. See how the LinkedIn works is they have something which you call as Boolean search. So it's all about the keywords. Imagine you are a recruiter and you are a recruiter of a standard MNC, and every day in your mailbox or in your server you're receiving hundreds of resumes or thousands of resumes. So how do you think that this sorting is happening? Is it something which is done by man, or is it going to be done by machine? Absolutely, you can say that it is something which is being done by machine only. So how does it work? It actually works on the algorithm which is specified based on these Boolean keywords. Like what are the skills? Suppose you are saying that you are a financial analyst, that's a keyword. You are a software engineer which is special preference given to the Python, that's a keyword. So you have to make yourself visible on this LinkedIn and other website where you can add all those keywords. And of course you have to add skills also. Skills in the sense, right now I believe most of you are sitting on your home, and even if you're studying somewhere, you can see that you'll be engaged in some kind of online classes. So you're getting a lot of time, because mostly your classes will be scheduled from morning 8 to 1. After that you can see a lot of time is there. So what you can do is you can do a lot of internship, because right now the companies are also offering, some of the top companies, if you're just going outside and searching, you can see that internship opportunities are there. So you can choose the appropriate one, whichever field we have to work, you can choose the one and get yourself inclined to that company. This is something which is not possible in other cases. That means if it is a regular stream, I don't think that most of you would be going for these kind of internships and all. But right now it is possible. That means just by sitting on your home, you could simply go and work with some of the big companies. That is, it's a huge advantage which you can take. So that is what I'm going to say about the increase your visibility. Increase your visibility means make your presence felt on different companies' profiles in LinkedIn, and you can attend some conference where you can see that like what are the potential recruiters. You can talk to them and see what is the thing which they are expecting from you, and if you're lacking that skill, you can work on that. So that's the second point which I want to say, that upskilling in the sense, see, this is something which is going to be true for this generation. That means just because you're passed out of your college after having your engineering or MBA, whatever it is, it's not like that you have stopped your education. Definitely it's not the case. Throughout your lifetime you have to improvise yourself. That is going to be there. So make sure you understand what is the hot topic which is going on in the industry. Like suppose somebody is want to do data analytics, he could probably go for something on the Python or R. Maybe you are already learning that, or if you are not learning, you can just go and work on that. Maybe somebody who's want to be a digital influencer or a digital marketing, he could actually go and get some courses, or he can already he can always work with some of the people who are pioneers on that field. So that is something which you can do. So that's what we call as upskilling. Now this is the third point which most of the students are not not aware of, that is networking. I'll tell you, this is really important. See, because most of the people would say that the colleges where you're studying is very important when it comes to jobs. Of course it is important, but even if you're coming from a mediocre college, you could actually get jobs in MNCs. It's not, MNCs means the companies which is actually situating outside the countries, like your dream jobs. That is possible, but the thing is you have to be on right track. Networking in the sense you should know the right people at the right place at the right time. This is a crucial skill. So again, right now we can see that a lot of opportunities are there because due to this COVID, you can take it as a boon only. A lot of conferences are there, which is happening virtually because otherwise it is actually you have to invest a lot of time, money, and energy to travel to those places and attend those courses or conference. Now it is possible. Most of the courses and conferences are free. You can just sit on your home. So get yourself connected to the people who are masters on your field and build the networks. And this is going to be helpful, very helpful, because I personally believe that just because you're coming from a small village or just because you're studying on a college which is situated somewhere on the Kerala, it doesn't mean that your talent is limited. So if you could get a right opportunity at the place where you can showcase your skills, it is going to be hugely beneficial for you. So networking is very important. So again, you can say that as a budding career aspirant, this time is very good for you because you can just make yourself connected to anyone and everyone who is available around you because all of them would be on the same, somewhat on the same situation. Because I'll tell you, see, some people they usually do their PGs or maybe their PhDs on foreign universities, and one main thing behind doing that one is the kind of networking which they are getting. So now, if you go to Australia or maybe on London, UK, or US, what is happening is all of them are sitting on their home only. That means they are just same as at you. So this is an opportunity. You can just get used that. Just take your time. Just identify what is the area and make sure you are getting connected. Again, LinkedIn is a very good source for this one. You can follow the people who are like your masters or your aspirants, so that you can do it. So these are the like 3 points. Now I'll be going specifically into this one. We can just go for some of the valuable digital skills which should be very much beneficial in the coming things. As I was saying, I think AI is something which is involved or it is included in the syllabus on most of the BTech and MTech, and there are branches is there, so there is no need to specifically focus on that. Now, for the other guys who are not coming from the tech background, I don't expect you would be writing the course, but still you should know how it works. Because as I was saying, that data is everything. When you get to see data or when you see the data, you should be on a position where you could actually make some decisions. Because the managers are no longer making the decision just based on their intuitions and experience, they're completely relying on the data. Whether you're working as a supply chain analyst or whether you're working as a financial investment advisor, whatever it is, you have to rely on the data. So you should know how this is working, and of course where to start. Again, for the engineering students, they will be already getting these courses. For the management guys, you can see that a lot of open online courses are there, and even our government is promoting this. You must have heard about NPTEL. That's why I'm up is there, through which you can access almost every courses. Then Coursera is there, Udemy is there. We can see some very nice courses which is given, and I believe that most of them are free also. And again, thanks to COVID, I should not say that, but again I'm saying some of the top universities like Stanford and Harvard and all, they have opened many of their courses during this COVID time. So you are free to access those courses. No, in other cases you have to spend a lot of dollars to just access those courses, but right now it is free. So just use that. So AI is something which is going to influence most of your lives. So just go for it. Now, coming to the next one, people analytics. This is, even though we say that this is primarily focused with the HR people, it's not like that. Because as we see that when the work from home, this is increasing. You should understand this, like work from home is not something which has arisen just due to COVID. It was already there, it was happening, but we haven't expected this to happen on this much numbers. Because now most of the companies are working completely on work from home. So that has completely changed the scenario. Now the companies knows that it is actually possible for them to keep the employees there on home, and then still we can make them work on a productive manner. So now they know that. So what do you expect? Like once this COVID situation is over, are they going to call everyone back to the office? Of course, changes are there. Many companies like TCS and Wipro and all, they're planning that 80 to 60% of their employees, they are still going to be remaining on their home only. So now the problem is, of course, this has got a lot of benefits because you would be spending a lot of time on transportation and other things would be there. So all those times can be saved. But here the problem is your social skills will die out. That means when it's come to these kind of companies, what I was saying was the kind of skills what they're expecting is the people who are very flexible, very agile, who are able to kind of like a multitasking, you can say. So these people should be ready to take on any kind of projects. So when you're sitting on your home, what is going to happen is you won't be able to understand how to communicate or how to negotiate or how to collaborate with the people. So that is a huge area which is growing exponentially. That is people analytics. And now specifically coming to the HR area, I believe that most of you, some of you might be aspiring to become the HR professionals. Now, as I was saying that there is a lot of analytics which is happening there also. See, this talent acquisition, retention, everything is happening done with the help of analytics only. Because the companies are no longer going to the certain pool interviews and recruiting. That is not definitely working. So what they do is they'll be just going or scanning through your resume or your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile, and then they'll be shortlisting certain number of peoples, and this is completely done by machines only. Okay, so there again, as a HR professional, you need to assess this process. You are not the leaders, you'll be just assisting them, but there you have opportunities. But only thing is you should speak technology or you should understand how this thing is working. Again, if you look into this people analytics, you have a lot of courses which is available online. Just go and Google it. Again, Coursera and Udemy is a very good source. You can see that. And see, I think in CET, some of the professors has got access to data camp. So inside the data camp itself, there will be multiple courses which I have seen. So if you're just asking a professor, he will be just giving you the permission so that you can just go and finish up that course. Just like data camp, there will be many other softwares. You can just work on those things and just get yourself used to those people analytics also. Now, another area is like digital marketing. This I don't think that it needs much explanation because this is something very familiar. And for the people who are getting out, or you're not coming from the management field, marketing is not about selling. Okay, it's not just about selling. We have many other things which will be coming on the marketing, and this is a huge field which is growing exponentially. Because right now we can see that there are a lot of people who are working on this content creation, who are working on the search engine optimization, customer retention, all those things, CRO, so all those things the people are working. So this is again another area where you can invest yourself. You can train yourself. For the starting, for the beginners, you can start on learning the courses from the Google. I think Google itself is giving some free digital marketing courses, so you can access that. And all of the websites would be giving something. And here one specialty is, if you're really inclined to this field, there are many more companies or many companies which are actually providing you training and internship on the same thing. Because what I've seen is like during these pandemic area for the final years, the most of the recruitments were done by some of the companies which were basically from the education field, like Byju's, GradeUp and all. And these guys, I mean, these companies want the marketing guys, not like someone who would be making a call and doing the product. Somebody who would actually talk with the people who are designing the course and how it is working. So of course there is a market, there is an opportunity even for the engineers also. So you can work on that. Now digital marketing is something which is going to be spread out for a long time. So it is a solid field. Now coming to the next one, that is behavioral investment. I don't know how much of you are familiar about this one. Now you must have heard about this financial terms, the stocks and portfolios and all. And what usually we do is most of our financial theories, they are just based on this rational theories. Rational theories means we expect humans to behave like on a logical way, just like the machines. That means all our decisions are calculated on the basis of simple words. We can say profit and loss. We are just looking for wealth maximization. But it's not the case. We can see that our investment decision or our behavioral decisions are always influenced by a lot of biases which should be coming from our personal side as well as the environment. So if you refer to Google, you can see that in 2017, there was a Nobel Prize winner. So he got the Nobel Prize for this his studies on behavioral investment only. He actually written one book, Nudge. So nudge means how do you place these influencers, or how do you place these influencing things by which we can actually influence the choice of the people. And this got influence on investment, marketing, all these advertisements you are seeing, it's kind of like a nudging. So Richard Taylor was the name of that person who won the Nobel Prize. And again, back to that, you can say that in 2001, there was another guy, and he has written one book that is Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, which is written by Daniel Kahneman, which is also will show you some aspect and it will open up some insight for this behavioral investment. And the people who want to work on the finance area, you can see that this is a promising area. This upcoming, you can see that a lot of new models, behavioral models are coming. So what do you expect, and what is the kind of profile or which is expected from you? Is again, they don't expect you to do the coding and all. Imagine you are someone who understands the finance, so you would be in a position to develop some portfolio, like a combination of stocks or some other derivatives. And once you develop that portfolio, that you can communicate with the coders. So then they will be just modeling it. That's how it works. I'm just giving you an overview of this thing. So again, this is a very good course. As I was saying that you could a lot of free materials are there. The University of Warwick is there. It's a very good university on this field. So they are offering some MS program as well as some online courses which you can refer. And in India, recently I have seen one company, that is Beast. They are specifically working on this area. So it's a very good area. If you looking into this one, it might be good for you. Now the next one is like design thinking. Now design thinking, it's again a holistic term. Whatever we have said at this point would be coming as a part of this in a way. You can see that basically we'll be saying that how the humans are behaving. We'll be trying to understand what is the exact need of the customers, and based on that we'll be designing innovative solutions, whether in terms of products or services. That's what you do in design thinking. So this is something which is applicable in all the field. See, it's like we usually say that there is something which is required. It's like out of box thinking is required, but sometimes it won't happen or it won't come from your side as such. You need an extra push, or you need a framework like how to approach these things. Again, as I was saying that there are so many courses. Microsoft also has seen some courses. So those courses you can use. Now, again, coming to digital project management, I guess you're aware of this one. See, this is an area where the people from the different functionalities come to one area and they'll be working. That means there will be software engineers will be there, will be doing the coding. There will be, marketing agents would be there. There will be financial advisors would be there. There will be operation or service providers would be there. And all of them would be, parallelly or simultaneously working on a project. So as a digital project management, you should know how to run this. Again, a lot of fancy and, very valuable courses are there. Like CAPM is one of the courses, but I believe that CAPM is a little pricey. You have to pay a little bit, but you can always start with some basic courses, which is there on. I've seen some courses on Microsoft only. You can just go and search it. This is again another promising area only, because ultimately you have to work on a lot of projects parallelly. So I've seen that even this is useful for the academics area also. So because suppose if you're certified as CAPM, you will be getting better placements in colleges as well as industries. Not only CAPM, other courses are also there. So this is another promising area. Now, cloud computing. As I was saying, cloud computing, you can see that everything is actually based on the data only, because data is growing exponentially. So it is very crucial that how do you store and how do you leverage these data. So that is something which is going to offer some career opportunities. Just like I was saying that Amazon was making huge profit just out of the situation by giving their cloud space. So again, you can do some courses. I think there is an Amazon certified course is there which you can start. Again, you can say this is a kind of technology oriented only. If the management guys who don't want to do it, you can just leave it. But whereas you can invest on the other areas. So these are some of the most valuable digital skills which I found to be important or which will be taking your job market. Now, see, to coming to the last part, see, this is something which I have seen. Some of my students are doing this, and I've seen some of my friends are also doing this. Be smart. Now, be smart in the sense, see, as I believe that some of you are already doing all these online courses, or some of you are already doing some internship, but you have to be smart. Smart in the sense, the first S is for specific. That means you just need to identify what is the area. You don't have to go and take each and every course which is coming to you. You must have heard of like jack of all trades, master of none. We of course need the people who should know the basics about all the areas that is required. At the same time, there should be some expertise also. As I was saying that when the job market is evolving, they need the people who are skilled on particular areas. You should have some competency on that area. So be specific. That is the first one that S stands for. So suppose you're working on finance area, you should be very strong at that area. That means you can do the courses which are coming and association with that. Maybe you can learn Python for finance. That would be helpful. Maybe suppose you want to work on supply chain. Maybe you can take some courses related to that. So that's what the specific is being all about. Now the measurable in the sense, see, measurable and achievable that I'm taking together. So you have a time span. Don't take the courses which is going to be very lengthy. And of course, you should go and see like how much syllabus is there and are you able to take. take all those things. That means, is it really worthy? That is also important. That means once you complete, see, these days people, what they do is they will just go and attend randomly all those courses. They will have the certificates and they will keep it. Now, this is of no value, because if you're not able to reproduce what they are or use what they are telling you, there is no use of that. So make sure the courses which you are attending is actually valuable for you in the future. That is your growth or your success should be measurable, and it should be, of course, achievable also. Say, for example, when I usually take class, I used to say that analytics is there. You want to learn about analytics. First, you learn the basics. Then you go to the next one. Because if you go to this, Google Analytics Academy is there. Basic analytics is there. Then you can go to the advanced also. Not an issue. But you have to make sure you are in the right stream and you're doing it on the right way. So that is those points. Now, R is for relevant. Relevant in the sense, make sure the internship, especially internships, you can see that, as I was saying, so many companies are offering internships, but most of the companies, what they are trying to do is they will just give you a job where we'll be supposed to sell something. Don't go for it. That's completely waste of time, because you're not going to learn anything from there. Right? Just like that, you can look into the engineering field also. You can try to assist in some projects that might be beneficial. So just identify the courses and internships which would be valuable. Suppose someone want to work on HR, they could just possibly work on some recruitment based company and see how the analytics is working. So that is going to be breakthrough for them. So that's what we are saying. You choose what is relevant for you and work on that. And of course, the last one is time bound. Time bound in the sense, when you choose the courses, if you look into Harvard Business School and all, right now some of the courses are open, but you look into the time frame also. Like, you think of that, you got again another 6 to 8 months. Again, in the 6 to 8 months, what you can do? You don't have to plan that much long. You always divide it into small sub points. That would be better. So that's what I would want to say. I hope it made some sense. Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask.
Yes, sir. My name is Shruti.
Yeah.
And I'm doing MBA in CET School of Management.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question that I am now focusing on operations and HR. What are the courses that will give that? I mean that എന്തൊക്കെ കോഴ്സ് പഠിച്ചാലാണ് നമുക്ക് എൻ്റെ ഓപ്പറേഷൻസിൽ എനിക്ക് നല്ലപോലെ പ്രോഗ്രസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും?
All right. So you're basically, what is your qualification? You're an engineer, or like you're coming from something?
I'm an engineer. I did the BTech in electronics and communication.
Okay, fine. So the thing is, as I was saying, that when it's come to operation, normally I suggest one course, that is CAPM. If you just go and Google it, you can get it. And or else you can ask Gayatri Miss. I think she has done that. So you can just ask her.
Pardon? Can you say once more?
CAPM. CAPM is there. So
CAPM, okay.
CAPM. You can just ask the details to your Gayatri Miss. She has done a course on that. So I know she could help there. And one more course is like, I can see that there's one company by the name Supply Analytics. Okay. It's a Bangalore-based company. Supply Analytics. Yeah.
Okay.
So there I have heard that they're offering some internship opportunities. So you can just see whether it is still open or not. So that is going to be there. And as I was saying that, use a LinkedIn. Inside the LinkedIn, you can see the jobs which are coming on the base of operations. And inside that, there will be a tag where they will be listing what are the required qualities they are expecting. Like, you should be certified on this thing. Like that, they will be listing. You go and identify that, and you can specifically go and do that course. That will be better, I guess.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yeah.
So you were talking about blockchain technology. So as you know, it's an open source ledger system, and basically all the transactions are stored into blocks for better integrity. And also, this blockchain is basically being strengthened by all those miners who are helping the community strengthen these blocks. So, how do you think this blockchain technology will impact the finance industry? So, basically, it's all about transactions and it's all about bookkeeping. So, an advanced, or even say a really advanced level of bookkeeping is going to happen in the near future. When blockchain was, let's say, Bitcoin was introduced in 2000, people were really skeptical about it. And let's say, for now in 2020, let's say last day, the blockchain, Bitcoin pricing, which actually spiked to around $11,000. So the technology is really advancing much faster than many of us have actually thought about, and many companies are actually switching to these type of transactions. So use these blockchain technology. So how would these auditing firms, so let's say these basic accounting standards and all those stuff, how would they evolve, and how this finance industry would evolve to accommodate this blockchain and cryptocurrency boom?
All right. I guess your question is like if you this blockchain technology is coming into effect, how these companies are going to accommodate this financial systems. See, first of all, I want to say that most of the companies which are right now working, or the government institution which are working, they have a centralized database management system. Now, this blockchain is all about decentralized database management system. So, in order to go from a transition to this stage to that stage, it might take some time. And of course, there is going to be some huge investment. So, the first question which you want to ask is like rather than focusing on what you have asked, whether it is really necessary. That means at this point, whether it is really necessary that our companies or our government, agencies should take over or go for this transition. So that is a one question, because when it's come to blockchain technology, one issue which you're facing is, as you are saying, that each of the information is stored as different blocks. That is something which you need to do. And every time when you dig out these information, there is a large amount of data and energy which is spent on this one. So are we ready to take up this challenge? That is a one question. Now, when we come to your second question, I mean your core question, like how this ledger and all those management would be done through the blockchain. Of course, it is happening, but only thing is, it might take some time in India to happen that, because right now, see, most of the companies, they are not looking in the same way as we are learning in the accounting practice, not by just by looking at the ledgers and all. As I was saying that there are new ratings which would give you a better performance indicators than this conventional way of accounting. So, like as I was saying, one way is looking into the ESG, and other scores are there. SEOM scores are there. So these are the scores which they would be considering. So even if this blockchain is coming into this one, it won't be same as sort of what we are expecting or what we are doing right now. So they'll be just focusing on some of the new parameters that would be taken as a criteria for rating this thing or making the decision. So I believe that this is not going to happen in next 2-3 years, because of course accounting is something which has to be reflected throughout the country's process. So it might take some time, but over a time period, you can see this is going to be there. Now, one more issue is there. As you were saying about the Bitcoin, when this blockchain is coming into these issues or coming into the field, one problem is the government won't be able to regularize this blockchain, because the people from the different part of the world, they will be able to transfer the money through Bitcoin or any other kind of cryptocurrencies. So there is always an issue of regulation of money. So that is another huge challenge. So I don't think that in recent times you would be getting over with all these challenges. It might take some time. And again, this would be first coming to the developed countries, then only it would be coming to developing countries. So it would take its time, because we have to make ourselves ready to accommodate these changes. But whereas you look into the companies, they have a huge opportunity. They are already doing it. And I've just read that most of the companies are already investing on the same. I hope I have answered your question.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
So I have a doubt. I mean, it's not a doubt actually. You're on a slide how to stay relevant. The third point was networking, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about networking, which is very important. You should have great contact sets. I thoroughly agree with that. And then you're talking about LinkedIn. Sir, can you throw some light on how to get adipoli contacts? Like for me, saying out myself, I have a digital marketing firm. Yeah, I'm a student. I have a marketing firm. And the thing is, I am getting clients that are like, ഇവിടെ അടുത്തുള്ള കടയിൽ അതുപോലെ ചെറിയ കോൺടാക്ട്സ് ഒക്കെ കിട്ടുന്നത് കമ്പനീസ് നമ്മൾ ഹയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ലൈക്ക് how to take things to next level, exposure
Okay, I understand. See, this is one doubt usually students are having, and even we are also having, because it's very important that you should have a contact with the people who are pioneers on your field. As you were saying that you are having some contacts which you are maintained locally. See, recently I have just attended one session which was about this marketing, only digital marketing. And this was not done by a tech savvy guy or someone who is that much qualified or who is having that much degrees, but it was done by a normal person, a normal person, but who is really experienced. After going through his 1.5 hour session, I understood that how much I don't know. And he has actually, I have just asked somewhat a similar question to him. So what thing you can do is make sure you are attending the sessions of the people who are into this field. That you can do right now. Because what I believe is most of the people are like ready to share their skills, they're ready to share the time. So if you're asking a doubt to them, or if you're asking how to do that, they would definitely help you. If you're from CET, I'm just saying, if you're from CET or something, you can look into a lot of, your alumni is there. You have got a vast alumni. Many of the people are running their own companies, they are on their top positions. And again, you can ask the help of your faculties, because most probably they must be knowing at least two or three guys will be doing the same thing, even if you take this digital marketing or anything else. Now, another thing what I want to suggest is, see, there are some digital marketing conferences and competitions are going to be there, which would be organized by IIMs and other top institutions. Where even though you feel that right now you're not ready to present a product or something, I suggest you should go and present yourself. That means, because it's all about getting new contacts, and when you're hearing new people, you'll be getting a new perspective, and that way you'll be able to come up with new business models also. That is a one thing. Now, another thing is you would be able to get acquainted with the other people who might have like similar thoughts with you. So that would again build your networks. So this is a process which might take some time, but you have to invest some time on that.
Yes, I understand. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I wanted to ask, I really want to go in app development. So, what can be which courses can I opt to go in app development?
What do you want
Like,
to do for development?
I want to join app development course. So, which courses can be helpful in that stream?
Sorry, I didn't get what development you're saying.
I'm saying app development, sir.
Okay. Anyhow, okay, I'm just not sure about that. Okay, I'll just see. I didn't heard it properly. I'll just leave my mail ID. You can just contact on that. Maybe I can help you with that.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you say more about cloud computing?
Okay, so cloud computing, what is happening is like, as I was saying that, see, right now a lot of data is there. Data in the sense, suppose you just have your mobile phone with you. Every day you're taking a lot of pictures, you're accessing new and new documents. So that is a kind of data. And the same way you can see that all these business movements, their ups and downs, how the stocks are performing, how these operations are going. So everything can be converted to data. So when you're having this huge amount of data, as I was saying that data analytics is a one field by which we can simply go through analyzing these data and arrive at some possible conclusion. So it is very crucial that you should save all this data. And again, you can see that in entertainment industries like Netflix and all, they are always having a huge amount of data. So it is very crucial that you should save this data and store this data on a secure place. And not only that, how do you maintain it, and what are the technological aspects which will be coming in relation to that one. So that's where this cloud service is coming into effect. I think if you're really interested in this field, Amazon Cloud Certification Program is there, which will give you a very good start, because they will start from the basics and they will just get through a lot of, I am not into that technical field, but they will just go through all these basics where we'll be able to make a decision whether I should continue or I should go to some other field. So I suggest that if you want to know more about, you can just do the basic course on this Amazon's.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I guess.
So some questions are asked in the comment section. Can you please check?
Yeah, sure. Can you explain more about freelance? Yeah, freelancing in the sense, you can do it by two ways. Normally, what they do is, first thing is, if you want to be a freelancer, you should have certain kind of skills. That is the first thing. That means you have to, make felt your presence. Suppose you are a digital influencer. What we are supposed to say is like you should have a particular number of followers. Or if you're a digital marketer, you should have those basic skills where you'll be able to develop all those contents as well as the marketing tools. So if you're having all those things, then you can approach these companies which would be giving the jobs on contract basis. And I'm not talking about the fake ads. They will be asking that if you're doing these kind of DTPs, they will be paying this much. No, definitely no. Freelancing in the sense, sometimes there will be, say, you take Infosys as a big company. So when Infosys is taking one project, it's not like the whole thing is done by Infosys. Some support would be given to some other companies like Alliance and all. Even Alliance, what they do is they don't opt to give the entire work to the people who are working with them. They will give a part of the work. Either it is going to be coding, it is going to be testing, or some other part that will be given to some other third party who's not their employees. So that you can take as a freelancer. You can finish it off. Again, for the coders, there are the coders. Some of my friends are there who are not inclined to any of the companies, but they are working as a coders. They would develop some software, they will be working on that, and at the time of completion, they could sell that. And here, the most important part when it comes to freelancing is, first thing is skills. You should have the skills and expertise. And the other thing is, again, the networking. It means you should be on a position to be in contact with these guys. Okay, what is the best option after BSc Electronics? I am not sure about BSc Electronics. I think, see, it's again depending upon your attitude only. You want to stay in this technological area, then you can focus on any of these courses which I am saying. Because right now, what I understood is the companies are not considering degrees as a qualification criteria. They are more looking at the skills of people. You're doing BSc, BA, MA, it doesn't really matters. But of course, you should prove that. That means if you are able to do some online courses, as everyone is saying that online courses is a new future. If you could spend some time on those such courses, and if you're able to show some experience, you can get into any of these fields. And again, for that person who is, if you are looking for good pay, of course, data scientists, data analysts, these are the people who are making a lot of money. Of course, financial advisors. So these are the people who could get a exponential growth over that time period. So that is something which you can choose if you're really interested in that. Can example of a freelancer. Freelancer, as I was saying, that it could be anything. Suppose you're a photographer, you can just go for a freelancing job where you'll be just specifically going for a particular kind of wedding shoot, and then you do the things and you're getting paid. That is a freelancing job. Or maybe for a software. Okay, I'll tell you an example. See, Alliance has got a process, and what Alliance do is they are doing the milk management process of Australia. So that is their client. Now, what they usually do is they just manages how the milk is getting distributed, what is their supply chain management activities, the procurement. Everything is done here on the Alliance. Now, a part of this job, that means initially about this data recording and about the time schedule, all those things are done by some of the guys who are sitting outside the company. So that is a freelancing. I hope it's clear. Explain the role of health management and how it is related to operations. Okay, see, I would just focus on one area. See, health management, there are two areas. There is one area where you can say that biomedical engineering, all those things would be there. So there the management field or management guys have got some role. That means you are supposed to go to the companies and there you can work on these machines and other things which would be supporting their medical activities. That is one thing. Now, other areas, there is one area which you can call as medical tourism. So that is also one area where you can see that management has got some roles to play. Now, other than that, healthcare management in the sense, don't think healthcare as an industry where we are just going to, get rectified from some kind of diseases. Rather than that, you can see that the people are taking it as kind of something that kind of like a vacation. So there, you can go for like an, importing of new machines, and you're just getting, better treatment in your country. So all those things you can consider as a, management practices where the managers has got some rules. So if you're really focusing on health management, I guess that right now there is a new area that is this, medical tourism, which of course shows some promising growth. Okay, Swapna Adirajan. Okay, can you? Okay, UI UX courses, again the same things only. If you're starting again, you can see. I will tell you, see, most of the times the Google is a very good thing to start, because Google is offering a lot of courses. If you go into this Google free courses, you will be getting a lot of access. Now, Coursera also has seen few courses, but I think some of the versions are paid one. So, the better thing is you can just identify some professors and teachers who actually have this access to any of these courses. Like DataCamp, I was saying, it depends upon the university and college which you're studying. So, if they could provide you the access to your email ID, you could easily access this one. And I see that in the last FDP section of this NPTEL Swayam portal, there were some courses on UI which you can refer. Okay, biomedical is a good course. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Is there a few courses in finance? Okay, few courses in finance. few courses in the finance means, okay, so you can start working with the courses or you're building skills on the stocks and portfolio areas. Because how do you manage the portfolio? How the portfolio management is happening, and of course, some coding also you can bring, like Python in finance. How do you use the Python to, make decisions regarding the finance? That would be a good start. You can work on those things. And if you look into the NSE website, the official website of National Stock Exchange, they are providing some insightful courses which should offer you, colorful expectations and ideas regarding these courses. So that also will give you like how the NSE is working, how many companies are getting listed, and how you should invest. You'll be getting all those information. So that would be a good, very good start. Job related in operation, I guess. What are the major jobs in operations? See, there are many companies which would actually offer the jobs in other profits. Let's say, for example, E&Y, Ernst and Young. Most of the people are getting joined as finance analysts or something like that, but what they're doing is the operation jobs only. Now operation job could be anything. You'll be supporting certain service or some systems that could be considered as an operation. There will be, of course, hardcore jobs like supply chain management is there, logistic management is there, procurement is there. So all those things will be coming as part of the operations. Okay, I I guess, yeah. Okay, I guess most of your doubts are cleared. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude towards all the organizations, because it was really happy. I was really happy to come and attend a session, or I mean, act as a resource person for my own college. So really happy. So thank you, Ashin. Thank you, Anand, for given me this opportunity. Again, it was really, I have learned quite a things, new things from this session. So I hope it made sense to you guys also. So thank you very much. Thank you all.
Yes, sir. Personally, I too loved the session. It was like very informative and very insightful. And looking at the chats, we can see a lot of people loved it, loved the session. It was like very insightful and very informative. Everything was on point. Thank you, sir. I'm so grateful that I've attended the session. And I want to thank every people who actually joined the meeting. And that's so happy that I attended the session.